Welcome to SMTV Live. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Brandy Powers.
You know, if you were up late last night watching the election returns, you may have seen this record-breaking tweet from President Obama from his record-breaking. I think at what time did it hit the with the 200 or 300,000 mark?
That was at 9 p.m. Pacific time.
9 p.m. Pacific time. It hit around 200, 300,000 retweets. Now, Wednesday midday, it's at almost 700,000 retweets. Clearly, way past the retweet record.
Way past.
Yeah.
Like single-handedly one night hit the record for the most retweets. And actually on Facebook, the same post has over 1.25 million likes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is impressive stuff. I mean, there was, you know, every time there's a huge event, the social media impact is more than last time. We saw that with the Olympics. We saw it with the election. So every time these big events come around, we're seeing social media more and more involved.
Yeah, social is actually playing a big part in politics, as it did in 2008. You know, this is not the first time that social media has been such an impact on political, you know, outcomes. But yeah. Top most retweeted picture. That's great. And
not only in politics, but also in the music industry and other industries. We're seeing something similar kind of catch fire with this, the Lady Gaga and her Little Monsters.
Because that camp is genius.
It's like it's a social media network all its own, basically.
LittleMonsters.com, that'll be, is it launched or will it be launching?
I think there's a website now. There may be a link in this article from this Australian article. But the idea, here's the link here. Let's see. I can go ahead and open it now. Let's see what it takes us to.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
But yeah, LittleMonsters.com is going to house, it's going to be like its own social network for all things Lady Gaga. So all Little Monsters can go here and just eat their hearts out with the latest news, videos, updates. But let's talk about the excitement behind how she's going to be launching her new album.
It's going to be as an app, which is really exciting. I mean,
ingenious.
A while ago, everybody thought, well, this is the end of the music publishing industry.
Right.
And a lot of people started going straight to delivering content to their fans.
Yes.
And this is an example of that. I mean, this is taking your content, building some interactive distribution into it, and then here fans have my material.
Yes, and giving them exactly what they want.
Right.
So with this new app, I think the album's going to be called Pop Art, but with the Pop Art album, it'll be an application where you'll be able to chat live with Lady Gaga. You'll have access to, I think they're doing a video for every single song. Just a lot of very inventive ways to engage the users, the little monsters out there.
I think it could be really fascinating. I mean, this is the answer. When you're as big as Lady Gaga, who is the most followed...
she has the most Twitter followers.
On Twitter.
Yes.
Where do you go? Well, you create your own social media network.
Yeah, why not?
And you create apps and other ways for people to interact with you.
I think it's just brilliant, and I can't wait to see how it develops.
I can't either. We will definitely report on it when it does, because we're here to help you out with your social media campaigns or answer any questions that you may have about Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, your blogs, Pinterest, Little Monsters, whatever you're working on, let us know.
You can email us your questions, as always, to questions@splashmediau.com, or you can tweet us by using hashtag SMTVQuestions.
Let's take a couple of questions from our viewers. So Jamie has a question for us. Jamie says, my company name changed. How do I change my Facebook page name?
Very good question, Jamie. And actually what we're going to do real quick is walk you through exactly where to go to change your page name. There's a couple of things to keep in mind, though, with the stipulations for changing your page name. If your page has over 200 followers, then you'll need to submit a request.
Right.
Which is what we're going to show you now.
Right, exactly. And there are two things on your page you'll want to change. One is the URL, and then one is the page name itself, which I think is what the question is specifying.
Right.
For the URL, it's right under here called username.
Right.
So I can change the username, and I think you're allowed to change your username once.
Yes.
For your page. So this is facebook.com/SplashMediaU in this case, or slash whatever your company is.
Company name, right.
Now for the name of your company, for the name of the page, not the URL, you actually need to, if you have over 200 fans, request a change from Facebook.
From Facebook, right.
So I can click there, and this will take me to a form where it says, I need to change the name of my page, current name, /MediaU, desired page name. And you can fill out this form and request through Facebook that you have a name change.
Yeah. So it's just as easy as that. Very good question. Danny wrote to us and asked, is it legal to post photos from customers from our nightclub on our Facebook page?
There is no law that says that the nightclub can't That is as far as we can go. Now, it depends on what happens to that photo if it's on Facebook. Does it infringe on someone's rights because it's manipulated in some way, or there's a claim on it, or used in some kind of advertising? Because that has come up in litigation recently, I think in California in the last year or so. But just for the nightclub on their private property to take a photo with people in it and post it, there's no law that prohibits that.
Good to know.
Good to know. All right. Our next question comes in from Beth. Beth wants to know, what are a few great ways to get blog engagement?
Great question, Beth. A couple of pointers to get some more blog engagement. Number one would be to guest blog on somebody else's blog. Definitely you want to make sure that they're influential, that they're in line with what your blog is talking about, but just do a guest blog. Reach out and ask them, hey, can I do a guest blog on your blog? Another way to get engagement up is for you to have somebody guest blog on your blog. Again, keep it along the same vein with what's relevant to your brand and what you're already talking about on your blog. Don't go completely left field. But so you blog on somebody else's site, ask for a blog on your site. And another way to get engagement up is to interview somebody who has a huge, massive following. And by posting this interview in blog format on your blog, they can cross-promote and say, hey, check out my interview on this person's blog, and you can promote it as well. So those are 3 good tips to get heavy, heavy engagement pretty quickly on your blog.
I love those. You know, we also talk about this term, it occasionally comes up, it's called link bait. And this is something that attracts you to certain content on a blog or a website. And it's a great way to actually bring people into, in addition to those wonderful ways of using the content and the content creators to spread the message because they want to talk about something they've written.
Right.
Things like a little kit or a PDF packet that you can provide that talks about certain products or services, or offering a guide to...
Little electronic media kit?
Yeah, electronic media kit is perfect. But that kind of thing can be what is called link bait because it encourages people to link to it. It's something that gets spread over and over again online, on social media, and that is another way to bring people back to that particular piece of content and also to your blog environment.
Awesome insight. Awesome insight. That's good stuff. So our next question today is from Tabitha. She asks, are there restrictions about what I can post and repin on Pinterest?
There are. You know, and we kind of have to ask ourselves the question as a business, what do I want to get out of Pinterest? And is it okay if other people are pinning products and services that I offer as long as that original source comes back to me? Because it's a fine line there. As a business, is it okay with you that people are repinning things as long as somewhere back in the original content you get the credit? Or is it not okay because maybe you're an artist and people are repinning your artwork?
Right, good point.
And when you go back to the original source, it's on somebody else's blog or it's on, you know, some YouTube channel where they just grabbed images.
Right, and you're not referenced.
And you're not referenced,
Yeah,
right. So it's kind of a fine line there. I pulled up Pinterest's acceptable use policy, and it's definitely a good idea to read through this. And this is where the fine print is, and some of them are very specific, some of them are a little bit more vague, but it's a great idea to go through these and make sure that you're in compliance.
And something to note is Pinterest clearly defines what you should do if you feel like you've been infringed upon, but they don't really highlight what you should do to not cross the line. So there's ways for people to raise their hand and say, oh, they stole my content, but there's not really a way to make sure that you're, you know, straddling the line. So I would also suggest that as long as you just don't manipulate whatever you're reposting, like if you just change the description, that's one thing, but if you go into Photoshop and manipulate what you're repinning, I think that certainly crosses the line for copyright infringement.
Absolutely, and to a certain extent, you have to use your own discretion.
Right.
Because Pinterest, just like you said, Pinterest doesn't give this, not that.
Right, it's not there.
Right, it's specific steps for a walkthrough of how you can respond if it's your own content and someone else used it, but there's no clear
It's very
definition.
gray.
It is gray, and that's because copyright law is somewhat gray itself.
It's gray.
So, you know, it's a sticky situation, and the best thing to do if you want to get involved in Pinterest, take photos. Take your own photos of your products and services.
Content.
Create your content.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what we encourage people to do on YouTube and blogs too. So
all the time.
Same thing applies on Pinterest.
It should.
We'd like to thank you for joining us this Wednesday for our live broadcast of SMTV, and thank you for sending in your social media questions. Love seeing what you, our viewers, have going on. For Splash Media, I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Brandy Powers. Thanks for being with us today.